Shalom, shalom. I want to start off, of course, giving all honor and glory, infinite praise and worship to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachah HaKodash. Double honors to our apostles and our elders, a great millstone who will teach you on sound doctrine. Strong shalom to the hopeful elect and the rest of the large multitude, men, women, and children. That the Lord will have mercy on these last days. Brother Kadash coming back with a quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, a WW3 news update. All right, as you see on the screen, it says the White House says Russia to attack Ukraine at any moment. It says White House says it believes situation has reached a point where Russia could launch an attack on Ukraine at any time. It says U.S. warns Russia poised to attack Ukraine at any point. So you see from different sources where 2 or 3 witnesses are gathered, the word is established. All right. And we've seen these things manifest itself because they're right on time, actually, according to prophecy, according to prophecy. I have a little clip. All right, because here is Ukraine. All right. And then you see Russia. Okay. So I'm going to show you a quick clip of why Ukraine is important for Russia to dominate and not allow it to be dominated by the West. Show you this real quick. He did a good job explaining this low key.
NATO and Russia over Ukraine. It's worth a glance at history and Russia over Ukraine. It's worth a glance at history and a good look at a map. In the Cold War, Europe was split more or less in two. The NATO countries in the West, Warsaw Pact under Moscow's dominance in the East. But post-Cold War, country after country wanted to join NATO, and it's moved up to Russia's borders. To understand why Russia feels nervous about that, a topographical map is useful. There's a mountain range running across Europe, the Carpathian Mountains. Now, from the Baltic Sea here to where the Carpathians start there, this is flat ground. And through that flat ground have come Napoleon and the French, Hitler and the Germans, and many others who've invaded Russia from that direction. And that makes Russia very nervous. Therefore, it seeks to either plug that gap by occupying it, or if not, where the ground opens up into flat ground, it wants to, at the very least, dominate it. In 2014, its reaction was to occupy and then annex Crimea, part of Ukraine, and its warm water port of Sebastopol, which gives the Russian fleet access out of the Black Sea into the Mediterranean, and from there onto the great ocean lanes of the world. It also fomented civil war in the Donbass region in order to create a small mini buffer zone. Now, Putin seems to be more ambitious. Now, if there's going to be an invasion, one of the 4 scenarios will probably come to pass. Fully occupy and annex the Donbass region. Up from that, move up from the Crimea and join all this territory up, so your buffer zone is bigger. One level up from that, race along the Black Sea coast all the way to Odessa, which is a Russian-speaking city. Annex the whole of the coastline and cut Ukraine off from the Black Sea. And most ambitious of all, you do all the preceding scenarios and you move troops into Belarus, which is friendly to Russia, and you come down from Belarus through what are called the Pripyat marshes, which are frozen in winter, and you encircle the capital of Ukraine called Kiev. The best time to do it is winter, because it's going to be a mechanized advance, and the mechanized divisions need hard frozen ground. That's strategy. But it's important to understand the place that Ukraine has in Russia's heart, or in its psychology. Russian culture began in Kiev, and it's where what eventually became Russia was founded. I mean, it moved eastwards across to Moscow, but they still know in their collective imagination that the root of their culture is in the heart of Ukraine. Large parts of the country are Russian-speaking. There's the Slavic connection, and there's also the fact that many people are Russian Orthodox in their religious belief. This is from the heart, and it actually does play a role in Russian thinking.
So there you have it. Just a quick insight on from a map's point of view, okay, on what he was going into, and why Russia is so adamant about trying to, plug up those gaps, as the guy was saying in the video. As he mentioned Hitler and the different other people going up that flat land and being able to use that to invade Russia. So, and if that happens again, and a crisis happens, that's a weak point for them. So they must, the Lord is stirring up the ancient spirits, as it says in Second Corinthians. I don't know what that's on my mind, but 2 Ezra 15. He's stirring up those ancient spirits, man, and he's putting that Soviet Union mindset back into Vladimir, okay, because war is about to happen. And as you can see again on this map, okay, where you see Crimea, where he was talking about Kyiv, okay, the capital of Ukraine, okay, and then he showed a little bit above that where it says Belarus, okay, where it's a little bit flat land right there where it's easy to invade, okay, and this is prophecy, because tension is being stirred up. As we see here, it says U.S. warns Russia poised to attack Ukraine at any point. And all through the news, all you've been seeing is sleepy crybaby Joe trying to issue out stern warnings to Russia. And I had articles on that too. I don't know where they're at, but stern warnings on why it's a bad idea for Russia to actually invade Ukraine. Okay, then Russia had had meetings with NATO, okay, and different things like that. But hey, man, at the end of the day, no matter how many meetings they have, no matter how many picnic parties they have, and how many times they sip tea, because they all in cahoots, but the Lord is making it where there's a division, to the point the house is, the Lord said, where there's division, the house cannot stand. That's sort of like what happened to Israel. Us being split in two, we became weak. And the more our army and the military is stressed out, the weaker they are. That's what happened with Rome. Okay, one of the things that happened with Rome was that their military was stretched too thin. And you see that here today. The modern day Roman Empire is being stretched too thin. Okay, because he by him in his mind thinking he can dominate the world, he spread out. But also at the same time, that makes him weaker. Okay? So, with these ancient spirits being stirred back up, Vladimir Putin is he's not playing, man. We've throughout the channel and throughout the last couple months, we're going into these prophecies and showing how they link up with the scriptures. And he's not playing, man. Why? Because the Most High is not playing, and the Most High has arrows pointing at Babylon the Great. All right. This wasn't meant to be long, but I'm gonna get like two precepts. This is Isaiah 13, and we go straight into the point. 17. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they should not delight in it. Okay, and the Medes are the Russians, man. Okay, the Medes are the Russians. Okay, and this is not, like I said, this is a quick hit. Maybe Lord willing, we can break it down why the Medes are the Russians. But this, this is a future prophecy that has yet to take place in the Old Testament, in the book of Isaiah 13, because you have scholars and different people that say the Old Testament is done away, which is completely 100% false. The whole book is living. It's pulsating. Okay, it's living because our Lord lives. As long as the Israelites is in captivity, this book is continued to be referenced. And then when the Israelites are back on top, the book will actually be in our inward parts, where we won't have to read this book. We won't have to go out on the streets and prophesy. You understand? And try to wake up the elect. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. And this is the way, this is in a way that the Lord is stirring up the Medes, man. Okay? By putting in their mind to actually go out and try to achieve this, knowing the consequences, knowing the warnings and the different things that's been pushed by NATO and America, man. But what does it says here? U.S. warns Russia poised to attack Ukraine at any point. We all know that it's been warnings put out, but it's still articles saying that they're poised to still attack, showing you that the Lord is about to make his grand entrance at any time now, at any day. It says their bows, okay? Is this a literal bow? No, this is an ICBM missile. This is a nuclear warhead. Their bows also shall dash the young man to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And this is not talking about ancient Babylon. Ancient Babylon still stands today. In ancient Babylon, there was no children killed because there was a surgical attack that happened in ancient Babylon by Darius. Okay? He surgically attacked. And we're going to continue to read, and we're going to find out the way this Babylon is being brought down was not the way that Darius brought the ancient Babylon down. It says 19, in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And that's talking about by fire and brimstone. And that's what those ICBM missiles is talking about. So as the guy explained, as you see on that map, as the guy explained in this video, okay, he had great points. All right. He had great points, and he's going to show again. I'm going to play a little bit more of what he said about this flat land and how he was talking about how Hitler and all these different people used that way to strategically invade Russia before.
Tensions between NATO and Russia's Cold War. Country after country wanted to join NATO, and it's moved up to Russia's borders. To understand why Russia feels nervous about that, a topographical map is useful. There's a mountain range running across Europe, the Carpathian Mountains. Now, from the Baltic Sea here to where the Carpathians start there, this is flat ground. And through that flat ground have come Napoleon and the French, Hitler and the Germans, and many others who've invaded Russia from that direction. And that makes Russia very nervous. Therefore, it seeks to either plug that gap by occupying it, or if not, where the ground opens up into flat ground, it wants to, at the very least, dominate it.
And right, so in this, again, according to Isaiah 13, this is another way the Lord is stirring up the Medes. Okay, he has to bring tensions with the surrounding countries, and he has to bring tensions with the ones that are prophesied to bring this system down. And Russia is one of the main players to do this. And who are his allies? Iran, right? China. These are powerful countries, okay, that are all aiming thunderbolts at America, man. You know? And that's what you just read here in 19. Those arrows that is talking about in verse 18. And this is how you know this is not talking about ancient Babylon. It says, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold. And this is talking about America the Great, all right? The great whore. Okay, that's what this is talking about, because Babylon the Great still stands today, and that place is inhabited today. When you go to Jeremiah chapter 51, and let's go to 11, and we're going to jump down. It says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yahweh Shem Yahushai have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. And that's what we see here. We see the spirit of the kings of the Medes being risen up. Those ancient spirits are being put back into the kings of the earth. It says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yahweh Shem Yahushua have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes for his devices against Babylon, because his device is against this system. And the system is broadcasted by the great whore, the one who is committing fornication with all the nations, and all the nations is drinking of that juice, that Babylonian juice. Okay? To destroy it. It says, for his devices against Babylon, to destroy it. Because it is the vengeance of the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the vengeance of his temple. You see? It says, let's jump down real quick. Let's jump down to 24. It says, and I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight. So Yahweh Shem Yahushua, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain. And this is a destroying mountain. This government has destroyed many thousands, hundreds, gazillions. You know, this government, man, this man gotta go, man. Okay, he has to be moved out the way, man. Okay, the whole world is mourning because of this man. I'm talking about Esau, Edom. Okay, Easy E, Sleazy E. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain. A mountain is a government. Okay, said the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, which destroyeth all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. And the Lord is going to bring thee down, the great eagle that flieth over the entire world, and don't look up because no one's a praying against him. The Lord is going to bring him down and is going to burn him and destroy him. It says, and they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner. Right. So the point is that let's jump down to 28, because you can really read the rest of this chapter. But it says, prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. You see, and 29, and all the land, and the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitant. You see, and that's what is going on. Okay, that's what is going on, to the point that the Lord is going to completely thresh her. This is 33. For thus said the Lord of armies, the power of Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her. Yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. The same thing you can link this up with is Revelations chapter 14, and starting at verse 14 on down to finish out the chapter. Okay, so I just wanted to show a quick example of what the Lord is doing. He's stirring up the the Medes, which are the Russians. Okay, he's stirring up those ancient spirits, man. All right. Just since I quoted it a couple times, we can start at 2nd Esdras 15 and 29, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power. And we can break this down in another lesson, but I'm just hitting the point. And with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. Okay, and he's still talking about the Iranians. That's why you see them more and more talking about DTA to America, right? And people who've been following our videos understand what DTA means. It says 31, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. And that's what the Lord is doing. He have the Medes, the Russians, and Iranians, and the Chinese, and all these different people remembering their nature, the nature of war, the nature before they started to drink of that Babylonian juice. Okay, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these shall be troubled, bled, and kept silence through their power, and shall flee. Okay. And that's what the Lord is doing. He has the dragons remembering their nature. He has the Medes remembering that Soviet mindset. right? To go back a little bit, we close out with this video.
Very nervous. Therefore, it seeks to either plug that gap by occupying it, or if not, where the ground opens up into flat ground, it wants to, at the very least, dominate it. In 2014, its reaction was to occupy and then annex Crimea, part of Ukraine, and its warm water port of Sebastopol, which gives the Russian fleet access out of the Black Sea into the Mediterranean, and from there onto the great ocean lanes of the world. It also fomented civil war in the Donbass region in order to create a small mini buffer zone. Now, Putin seems to be more ambitious. Now, if there's going to be an invasion, one of the 4 scenarios will probably come to pass. Fully occupy and annex the Donbass region. Up from that, move up from the Crimea and join all this territory up, so your buffer zone is bigger. One level up from that, race along the Black Sea coast all the way to Odessa, which is a Russian-speaking city, annex the whole of the coastline and cut Ukraine off from the Black Sea. And most ambitious of all, you do all the preceding scenarios and you move troops into Belarus, which is friendly to Russia, and you come down from Belarus through what are called the Pripyat marshes, which are frozen in winter, and you encircle the capital of Ukraine called Kiev. The best time to do it is winter because it's going to be a mechanized advance.
And that's what we're in right now, in winter, and everything is strategically planned, like you said in the video. You understand? Everything is strategically mapped out, and it's this is how you know the Most High is behind this, because you have Ukraine, right? You have Ukraine sitting where it's sitting, as you see on this map, and the surrounding countries around it. All right, they deal with NATO, okay, and you have Ukraine just in the middle, okay, showing that the Father. It's just like when the apostles were going into Apostle Ramla, I believe I was watching this lesson a couple of days ago. It's the Spirit of the Lord. How the Most High still have like the Euphrates River with its original name. Okay, and a lot of these land masses still have its original names, and it wasn't touched or changed because they're important to prophecy. Just like here, we see Ukraine dead smack in the middle between these different countries and between these NATO countries and so forth. And we understand that the Lord has it like this because why? It's used to stir up the Medes, okay? And we don't know how it's going to play out. But all we know is that this stirring up, when the pot is being stirred up, we know that what? Dinner is about to be served. So we understand that the stir up is happening, and we know dinner is going to be served. We don't know how the plate is going to be presented. We don't know what side the chicken going to be on. We don't know if the mashed potato is going to be in the middle. We just know that the pot is being stirred, and we know that dinner is about to be served, and all we know is we about to eat. We don't know the presentation of the plate. So that's what we see here. We don't know the presentation of this war and how it's going to completely be mapped out according to each pinpoint of, the strategics behind it that the Lord has set. All we know is, according to prophecies, who the players in there and what land masses these things are going to play out. And right now we're seeing the pot being stirred, and this is the furthest we've been and the closest we've been to these things happening in terms of the Medes aspect being played out, because NATO is getting involved and the U.S. is sitting out warnings and Russia's ignoring those warnings, and we're seeing these things beautifully lay itself out. And at the same time, you see the MOT to the B being issued. They talking about in July they're gonna start to get closer to mandating these things, okay, in July, okay. Human trials, it said, the article said human trials begin in July for Esau's stamp to be trialed on humans, okay. I saw a post on social media. It had 2020 with the diaper, and then it had 2021 with the stabber. And then, obviously, what 2022 is going to be what? Just make it make sense. So, Lord willing, it's edifying. Just a quick WW3 update. Lord willing, it was edifying to the elect. Again, we give all honor and glory, infinite praise and worship to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Hakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone, who rule well, who we learn this truth from, who the Spirit of the Father, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, is dealing with, and anybody with a like mind and like doctrine that's scattered abroad, that don't necessarily have the banner of great millstone on their title. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone again, and humble salutation to the elect scattered abroad in these perilous times. May your houses be blessed, and may the Lord have mercy upon you. Till next time.